So what if someone stole your mind? What would you do to get it back? What if all you're experiencing may not truly be real? Well, let's delve headlong in the answers as we join Arnold Schwarzenegger and director Paul Verhoeven for the adaptation of the Philip K. Dick story known as Total Recall. In the year 2084, Douglas Quaid is a bored construction worker who dreams of visiting the now colonized Mars. His wife Lori tries to pull him away from his fantasies, including the mysterious woman in his dream. Yet Quaid decides to visit Recall, a company that implants false memories for far less than an actual vacation. He chooses an ego trip package to live the life of a secret agent in an adventure to Mars. But during the procedure, Quaid freaks out, and the implant team reveal that he's already had his memories altered and believes he's a deep cover operative. While Quaid is sent home with his memories of Recall erased, he soon finds himself confronted by his work friend Harry and a band of men who drag him off and assault him. Quaid's instincts kick in, and he ends up killing them all. He then arrives home to his wife, who also attempts to kill him. He soon is told that his entire life is actually a false memory, and that the people implanted in his head are in hot pursuit for him. This plot is headed up by Velos Cohagen, the tyrant oppressing the people of Mars and charging premiums for a breathable atmosphere. His old shoddy habitats also allowed radiation pollution to mutate the early colonizers who have developed psychic abilities. Cohagen's top henchman Richter is sent to hunt down and drag Quaid back for the secrets he's holding deep within his mind. Because Quaid is actually Hauser, a former associate of Cohagen who tells his mind-wiped self to get to Mars to join up with the rebellion headed up by the mysterious Quado. Yet Richter wants Quaid dead for killing his wife, who Quaid believed was his own. Along the way, Quaid meets the woman from his dreams, Melina, who he previously fell in love with, and works for Quado. The mutant leader ultimately unlocks Quaid's memories of alien technology buried deep within Mars that could either cause a global meltdown or free Mars from Cohagen's iron fist. Yet it is soon revealed that Hauser ran everyone for fools, was in league with Cohagen all along to get to Quado and stop the rebellion. However, Quaid is confronted with the possibility that what he's experiencing is all in his head, a fantasy generated by Recall, and that his mind is endangered by continuing with his adventure. Quaid will have to grapple with the truth of his reality, with the possible fate of Mars hanging in the balance. So June 1st, 1990 saw the North American theatrical debut of Total Recall, a film by whatever metric you're going to go by in terms of the budget's been cited for the entire film, from $48 million to $65 million to $80 million, still grossed $261.4 million worldwide at the box office, and certainly when you tack on later cable sales and home video rentals and sales on top of that, definitely made a healthy profit for a film that took a very long time to get to that point, because it starts out back in 1966 when the original short story from Phil K. Dick, We Can Remember It For You, Wholesale, was published. Eventually in 1974, the rights were optioned by screenwriter Ron Shusett, who along with his screenwriting collaborator Dan O'Bannon would eventually write Alien many years later, but they spent a lot of years hashing this thing out, trying to beat it around and trying to find the right way to kind of break the entire concept as a full feature-length film from a very short story. And some of the problems with the fact that the short story doesn't really have the full resolution of the story. It kind of has the ideas there to percolate and kind of inspire people, but really doesn't have a conclusion to the story overall, so a lot of the entire problems are just hashing out exactly how to end the entire film, how to conclude all the different ideas in the whole thing. And another thing was the fact that it was such an ambitious project that it cost too much to all these different backers. Like, they went to these people here, went over these people here, but like, it's too costly. It was too much of a risk for us in that regard, too much of the things with probably special effects and various other things they want to do in the whole thing, so just a little too costly. And it got some other things in the entire thing, like Phil K. Dick's adaptation, Blade Runner. Hero is a classic now, but didn't make bank at the box office whatsoever, so that probably gonna maybe hurt the possibilities of what anyone would really want to put in the entire film. But eventually, they got Dino De Laurentiis involved in the entire thing, him interested in backing the entire project. Now, this guy who backed the King Kong remake, Flash Gordon, Dune, Conan the Barbarian, a lot of kind of ambitious projects in some places, but after Dune was very much a costly film, it didn't perform very well. He didn't really go into exorbitant cost in the entire thing either, so kind of went around and kind of actually got David Cronenberg involved with the film at a certain point in time. But there were a lot of creative differences, like real heavy clashes about what the tone of the entire story was going to be, because Shusett didn't want to go too serious on anything. You want to keep a certain levity about the entire idea here, as the entire film deals with what's reality, what's fiction, what's the truth, what's really happening here. And I have a little bit of a loose tone in the entire film to kind of play around with different concepts. Cronenberg was much more serious about the entire ideas in the entire story here, and all just kind of just butted heads and things didn't go well, and Cronenberg walked out of the entire thing and just went to waste. But they got 40 different drafts on the entire thing before it ever got off the filming. 40 different drafts of the entire thing, trying to hash out all these problems, and eventually they got right up to the point of getting into production. They got Patrick Swayze as the lead in the whole thing, and director Bruce Beresford to helm the entire film, and all this is going to be shot in Australia. They're starting to build sets and various other things, but looking at Bruce Beresford, he's not the guy you'd look at. Like, you look at his filmography, there's nothing there to kind of say, let's throw a mind-bending, high-concept science fiction action film at this guy. Like, this guy ends up directing Driving Miss Daisy a couple years later. It's like, just not the guy. This doesn't seem like the guy. It feels like he's more like plug a guy in who can get the job done on time, whatnot, but he's not really a visionary director. Unfortunately, as has become kind of a running thing on this entire channel in the last year or so, Dino De Laurentiis and his De Laurentiis Entertainment Group goes out of business right before the start of production in 1988. And everything just blows up. Everyone's out of a job. The entire thing is scrapped, abandoned, and Shusett are like, we've got nothing now. We've gone through all these years, 14 years, of trying to get this thing up to production, and it just gets snatched away at us the last damn moment until Arnold Schwarzenegger is involved. Because he was very much interested in the entire thing. In the story, in the script, everything like that. And the whole thing is, he had just worked with Carolco Pictures on Red Heat. Film I don't care that much for, but it did fairly okay for itself, but he was hooked up with the heads of the entire company there, Mark Gassar and Andrew Vina, and it's like, you guys got the money for this thing. This is a project I am very much instantly interested in. And like, Arnold's the biggest thing. You got Conan and Terminator and Commando and Predator and stuff like that. He's just building himself up so goddamn much. This is one of the biggest stars in the world right now saying, I love this story. I'm calling you guys to purchase the rights and close the deal to absorb it and get the entire thing into production. And I want Paul Verhoeven because I saw RoboCop and I loved everything he did with that film. Like, this guy's got the tools. He's got the tools to know how to work with the material. After Arnold had done recently The Running Man, a film that had a lot of interesting concepts and a lot of interesting themes that got handled in a very kind of ropey type of fashion. A film that's fun, entertaining, kind of schlocky, but it had a lot more potential to be a much more thought-provoking film with a lot of different themes involved with it that all felt like was a little kind of shortchanged by the kind of run-and-gun schedule it had. It's definitely a thing, like getting a guy like Verhoeven, like he sees the depth and the interesting qualities and all the little layers of everything put into that RoboCop film and sees the potential of the Philip K. Dick story into the screenplay. Like, this is the guy. It's like absolutely strike it on the head. This is the guy to take these concepts and really burst them on the vibrant life and just make a fantastic film that's both thought-provoking, interesting, and action-packed and fun as hell. And it's like absolutely positively everything came together. And Carolco had a couple of financial misfires at this point in time. Some films they kind of backed as artist visions, but really didn't gain the traction, didn't get the kind of attention they needed to recoup their budgets. And so backing something like this with the major action star, a major filmmaker calling it a hot film, and a very much an interesting concept that's like, we could really go with this thing. Be very much ambitious in that regard, because they really wanted to be ambitious. They were very much an ambitious studio to a certain degree. Kind of canon films if they had a larger vision and had the money to back it up in a certain way. So they really much had that kind of independent spirit, being able to have enough cash to kind of pre-sell various things to international markets, stuff like that, to distributors and stuff like that, to kind of bankroll things at the beginning of the whole thing and recoup a lot of money before they even started filming the whole thing. So very much kind of smart business decisions at certain points in time, but
Carolco in the next decade would not have the best fortunes in that regard and be done with by about 1995 or 96. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was very much thoroughly involved throughout pretty much every aspect of production here because he championed the whole thing. He wanted to make sure it shepherded forward on a very good level. Everything stayed up on a very high quality in the whole thing and kept Ron Shusett on as a writer and co-producer, but they brought in Gary Goldman to do some rewrites. Now, he had done an early draft of Big Trouble in Little China, does Navy SEALs about the same time. Not a whole lot of things on acting resume, but he was very much responsible for a lot of very crucial elements being introduced in the entire film because originally felt like it was not much, they didn't have a lot of time before it went into production to really kind of do a lot of different things, but eventually Verhoeven was like, I wanted some major changes done to the back half of the film. And so Goldman's very much responsible for creating that division in the characterization of Hauser versus Quaid, that Hauser is very much a willing participant in Cohagen's plot, and Quaid's like, this guy's an asshole, I don't want to be this guy again, and having much more the ambiguity between the fantasy and the reality. Is this a dream, is it not? All that type of stuff. So a lot of these more interesting dynamics to create much more layered complexities to the entire story here that makes it much more compelling and more interesting is very much because of Goldman's draft, put it on the entire film, but Shusett was kind of kept around on set to a certain degree to kind of work on some kind of little rewrites here and there to kind of just touch up some things when they had maybe impasse about a certain idea or maybe some dialogue here and there. But Verhoeven very much wanted to stay close to the script and not do a lot of improvisation to certain things, but as it went along, they had a lot of different problems in the entire thing because they went into production in Mexico with a lot of sound stages, like it's a big, big production, but a lot of injuries, a lot of illnesses because, as some people will know, that if you go down to Mexico, sometimes you might get some very unsavory cuisine that'll do very much bad things to your internal organs and stuff like that, and may much make a lot of people very, very, very sick. Arnold and Shusett apparently both had their own catering done, brought in their own food and their own chef and stuff like that for their own purposes, because Arnold had previously done Mexico in Predator and encountered that same sort of problem there, so he really wanted to have his own kitchen on the whole thing, but a lot of people had some problems here and there. But Arnold, being the guy at the head of this whole thing, setting an example and making sure everyone was taken care of through a lot of parties, through a lot of things to make everyone feel as appreciated as possible in the entire thing, to make sure that even like Michael Ironside, when he's away from his sister, who knows is very much ill at the point in time, made sure that Ironside could get in contact with her and talk with her on a regular basis and kind of just make everyone kind of feel the best they possibly could on the entire thing, and especially when Ironside fractured his sternum during a stunt and had to go back to work before everything was entirely healed, and they had a whole lot of problems, so a lot of things going on where they had to do some pauses in production as things went into certain unforeseen circumstances, so very difficult type of thing. And Verhoeven was not quite as thinking that the film was going to be as effects heavy and stuff like that as he imagined. So he brought in a lot of regular people on the entire thing he worked with before. Same production designer, same editor, he worked on RoboCop, and his cinematographer, Jos Vonico, who worked with on RoboCop, and also shot a personal favorite of mine now, 52 Pickup for John Frankenheimer, and he does a fantastic job shooting the entire film, because I remember used to seeing this entire thing back on DVD, and I always felt like it looked kind of a flat film. But now seeing it in 4K, it looks fantastic. It's just like it looks like it has a lot of great depth and quality to it in terms of the cinematography, the lighting, the set design, all the different things. It really comes together so very well when you see it in a very high quality presentation. Everything it does in the entire thing just makes it very dynamic. Like the action sequences come out so very well because it chooses interesting angles to follow the entire action here, but it also maintains that action geography. The action flows so well because you understand the relation from one character to the next, one shot to the next, because everything is so easily guided along throughout every single set piece. So the camera is there to guide you from all different angles, and everything make it very much a clear, concise formula to put together for a great action sequence. And alongside the production design in the film creates that great pulp sci-fi noir feel overall. Like the use of the red lighting on Mars creates such that alien harsh atmospheres. Like everything comes off as such a very unique but strange aesthetic in that regard to instantly put you in a world that's unfamiliar. It's such great use of all the different techniques of cinematography to create the look and the feel, the aesthetics of the entire film on such a great level in that regard. And hanging up a lot of the stunt work on the entire film was Vic Armstrong, who's just like one of the best in the field. Like at this point in time in 2025, this guy's been working for decades, and he's one of the best ever. And he also like doubled Harrison Ford in a lot of different films, and he's just like worked with practically everyone in the field, and also was a second unit director on the entire film. And Verhoeven was a little kind of here or there about using a second unit director, because usually like, oh, they don't really deliver stuff that feels like it's up to my standards, but Armstrong consistently delivers stuff that impressed Verhoeven time after time, and usually a lot of the second unit stuff would be action oriented. So he's both dealing with directing the action, but also handling a lot of the stunt choreography and stuff like that. So just top marks on his regard that Armstrong definitely one of the top ones in the field, delivering action time and time again on the best levels possible. But the editing on the entire film just comes together so very well. It's like such a tight, concise type of film, because under someone skilled as Verhoeven, he understands the material. He knows how to layer it in there. He knows how to work with the elements that are so smartly in the script, convey them on screen, and have it all come together in a very clear way. All little details are peppered in throughout the entire film. They add up to something later on. Had someone lesser experience, not quite as much of an adept quality about dealing with these high concept and more thematic ideas, it could definitely fall into a very messy experience. But getting so many of the different people underneath you that know exactly what they're doing and do their professions extremely well aids a filmmaker like Verhoeven on such a grand level to realize the vision. And Verhoeven's very much a hyperactive type of guy. If you watch any interview with him, it's like, this guy's got to slow down a little bit. This guy just like, he's got manic ideas, like he's got so much energy, so much enthusiasm for what he does, so it's like it just charges through the entire production to shoot out every little idea he's got, but it comes together very concise, clear vision on screen so much. It's like kind of a mad genius in that regard, but such a great thing from what Verhoeven does in the film as a director here, taking a lot of different tones. Because you got the humorous tones, you got some things where the film is not taking itself 100% seriously. It's got a little bit of a levity, a little bit of a satire to it in a certain way. It's like, it's got a certain quality you can kind of look at. It's like maybe there is a little bit of a reflection back on the action genre a little bit, here and there, whatnot. It's like it's kind of slowly, gradually amping up what it's doing. It's becoming more over the top in a subtle fashion as the film progresses, as it escalates. But it's like it's so much because it does escalate a little bit at a time that once you get to higher gore quotient and all these different things, bigger, chunkier blood scribs and all these different things, and people's arms getting chopped off and various other things, like it just builds and builds. It's like so much, a little bit like RoboCop he did, where it's like there's like the hyper violence makes it almost comedy, makes it almost humorous. Like it goes so far over the top with the seriousness in the action department that it wheels around to just being kind of funny in that regard. So there's that such good quality, and it meshes so well with Arnold. Arnold has that capability of swaying between the seriousness and the kind of jokey one-liner type of stuff, and the kind of tongue-in-cheek stuff here and there, so it flows so well. It's so much the quality of a filmmaker who knows how to balance those tones and when to pivot from one thing to the next while still maintaining the stakes of the entire story. I like so much what that does for the entire film, and getting such a great director at the helm of it to realize such complex ideas in such a very fun way. And we've already talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger in terms of the production of the entire film, but as the leading man of the cast here, great type of stuff, because he's at the peak of his appeal right now, peak of his powers. And it's come along a little bit at a time through one production to the next, working with guys like James Earl Jones or Carl Weathers or stuff like that, learning from a lot of guys he's around to know how to work on screen, to pick up a couple little skills along the way, kind of refine what he can do on screen, not just with the charisma and the humor, but finding more ways to be subtle on screen, finding ways to work with character overall, just these little dramatic elements he's built up over time. And very much an interesting type of thing. Like in the original story, the character of Quail, not Quaid, but Quail, was like a desk clerk, a pencil pusher type of guy, but felt like, well, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the biggest set of muscles on screen. Let's give him a physical labor job instead, so it fits with his physique. And they cater a lot of things to his personality. They cater towards what you can do with Arnold Schwarzenegger on screen. Work towards his strengths. Work towards the humor, the comedy, the charisma he has, the entire thing, and work off all these little things that you know exactly what the appeal of Arnold Schwarzenegger is by now, and they fit all that stuff very much right into the makeup of what they give as his character on screen here, as both Quaid and Hauser works out very well. And it's just a great thing seeing They just kind of tried to expand his skills a little bit. That you got already the stuff that's very reliable about him, but he's also working with kind of vulnerability, kind of paranoia type of stuff. So he's working a couple of things under the helm of a very, very experienced and well-seasoned director with Verhoeven to be able to find those extra elements of the character and the performance and find those things that work for the story and bring them out of what he can do on screen. And just, again, he commands the screen so easily with his charisma and his ability to work with the action sequences and the fight scenes and various other things. Like the physicality is just a no-brainer for Arnold at this point in time. He's absolutely perfect in that regard, but how he traverses the story and how he kind of is a thinking man to a certain degree in the film when he does have the jokey one-liners, like the best one-liners. Just like this collection of epic one-liners he has the entire film are absolutely perfect. But having the little things he has going on the whole thing where he has to deal with, like the scene with Dr. Edgemar coming in the entire thing and the entire conversation about you're actually having a schizophrenic attack or whatnot at the recall facility, you're going to get lobotomized and freak out and everything like that. And those little things he's doing subtly on screen are such great little character moments to see the progression of the story, the wheels turning and stuff like that. Just all these little things just add up to a very good character while having all the different dynamics he has with all the different characters around him to work so very well with the romantic leads he has and various other little things. Like his great rapport with everyone. He works well with everyone on screen, so it's just a great thing to see him gelling and having all that stuff and feeling like he is exactly the draw that he absolutely is right now and proving it in every single frame of the film. Excellent piece of work for himself. It's just his peak type of quality, and what he can do on screen is definitely in this film. But speaking of romantic leads, working just so well off him, having Sharon Stone here, who's not a name yet. Obviously, Basic Instinct a couple years later, with Paul Verhoeven at the helm of the whole thing, definitely made her a name, but she's been doing a couple things here and there, but this really showed her value, because she meshes so well with Arnold. Just feel like a natural fit. She does great things being very playful with him, but having a loving sensibility when she's kind of dealing with his like obsession with Mars and stuff like that. It's like, oh, kind of come away from that type of stuff, and we got other things that keep us happy and various other things, but he's so dead set focused on this thing. It's a great type of thing to see that loving dynamic and that kind of maybe strained quality to a certain degree, but there's still a connection there overall that comes out very, very well between them. But when she has to flip and she's turns into the entire secret agent and everything like that and has to be almost an assassin towards him, she does it great. She's so ruthless. She just kicks so much ass. She just has so much gusto going in the entire thing, being so physically active in the role. Just like, it's just a great performance from her. Just shows a dynamic that you can work off of different spectrum of a different character and flip on a dime so much, and just plays such great elements with everything which is going on with Arnold. It's like great stuff overall, what she does here, but also Rachel Ticotin as Melina. She's really damn good. I really like her in the film because she has a great strength and an agency to her, because she's involved with this entire resistance movement, the entire rebellion and stuff like that. So even though she's kind of moonlighting as sort of a stripper to a certain degree or whatnot, having that kind of sleazy but demure edge that kind of Quaid asked for in his entire profile there, but so much the fact that she does have to have a certain sensibility that she can stand up for herself. She can throw down with Lori, Quaid's supposed wife, and the whole thing, and have her and Stone just kind of go at it so much and stuff like that. It's like she's just an equally well fleshed out character in my degree. She does a great job also having good chemistry with Arnold and have that two-pronged sort of romantic interest going on for Schwarzenegger's character, to have both Lori over here that turns on a dime and goes against him, but also Melina, the one he kind of has been fantasizing about, dreaming about before he goes to recall. And so it's all these interesting little things that just struck out so much. It's like they did a really good job casting these different roles and having them gel so well with the dynamics of the story through the Quaid character. They do really get goddamn good job. But man, you want to talk about villains. Villains, oh man, in a freaking Verhoeven film. Gotta hit the fucking hilt, man, because Michael Ironside, talking about a guy designed to play an action movie bad guy, just that chiseled face. It's so perfect. And the fact is, he's got so much that command of the screen so much. That's an interesting thing, that he's just kind of the guy treated like the thug. He's not really in on the entire intelligent machinations, everything's like Cohagen just tells him what he needs to know in order to do just enough of his job to get it done, but not enough to really kind of have all the pieces together to make decisions for himself. And I like the fact that Ironside he's so good. Like, the camera loves this guy so much, and he delivers his lines so expertly. Just having all these things, like, he's a great character because he's perceptive and he's sharp. He always kind of picks up the little things going on around him in the environment, stuff like that. When they go on to the kind of docking port on Mars and the entire thing of Quaid being in the disguise, Richter kind of picks up on, like, there's some kind of disturbance. It's like, before it's revealed, he realizes that's Quaid in disguise. So it's like, go get that. That guy, that woman or whatnot, that's Quaid. I like that little element of the character. He's got that perception to the situation, like, oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, you go through that entire elaborateness. They kind of get past security and everything like that. So interesting stuff. Just like a great synergy between Richter and Quaid, because we find out Laurie is Richter's love interest, girlfriend, wife, anything like that. And having that little extra element to make it more personal, to have points where it feels like Richter is going a little bit rogue for himself, like in the business for himself, and kind of going off of kind of dismissing Cohagen to a certain degree, where he's kind of tweaking around the video transmission and stuff like that. Oh, I'm losing you here or there. It's like, little entertaining type of things, but it creates elements to create swerves in the story, create urgency and further danger for Quaid's character. He's such a great actor. So much Richter is his iconic role, and he lives it up so much in the entire film. But freaking hell, to top Ironside as Richter, you gotta go up to the nines. And Ronny Cox is such a fantastic actor. Like, he just done Dick Jones, and now he's got to crank that all the way up beyond where Dick Jones was, and now he's Velos Cohagen, which is a phenomenal name for a villain, and he's so goddamn good in the role. He's chewing it up wholesale. He's relishing the moment because he's even more of a bastard. Oh man, he's just like dig down, grinding these people's like, oh, you're texting people for air and everything like that. It's like, oh, he's gonna take the air away from people when he's as wet's end with the rebellion and stuff like that. It's like, oh, screw them, they'll get less than the others. Oh, wonderful stuff. He is so thoroughly into this role so much. He's so cutthroat. He's ready to just wipe anyone out that is no longer of value to him. So once Quaid has turned that entire thing, is like, okay, I'm not getting Hauser back, and this guy's now a threat to me on every level. Get rid of him. I just love everything. And that final confrontation with Quaid and Cohagen, and Cox is just so, he's thrown all his back into it. It's like he's just so of a salacious piece of crap. He's such a son of a bitch. I absolutely love what he does. He's going so far with it. And like, I love Ronny Cox so much. Like, Bogomil and Beverly Hills Cop is like the complete opposite of the entire thing. Then you got, again, Dick Jones and Cohagen. And he gets over in Star Trek with a very kind of divisive role, but like, it's such a great performance he puts in as Captain Jellicoe in a couple episodes of Next Generation and, of course, Star Trek Prodigy later on. It just shows that Ronny Cox is such a phenomenally talented actor. He can just absorb whatever you need to from a certain character and deliver it in spades on screen. He's fantastic in this role. And got a lot of other little supporting cast members. They're all just so well cast. Everyone fills out the roles in such great, interesting, colorful ways. It's such a great piece of work. Just like this, every role is cast absolutely perfectly from top to bottom, inside and out. Good guy or bad guy, action type of stuff. It's actually one of the most memorable casts altogether because everyone gets a little something to be memorable with. Great type of stuff. Perfect cast. But there's nothing more perfect than the Jerry Goldsmith score for Total Recall, because, my God, it's a towering achievement. What he does is beyond reproach. It's like it's one of the best scores he's ever done. And the fact is, Jerry Goldsmith has no shortage of phenomenal scores he's put together throughout the entire career he had. But this is just head and shoulders above so many other things because it's so large in its scope for a film of this kind of ambition. Everything like that. It's like it's matching the ambition that Verhoeven's putting into it, the complexities of the elements of the story and everything like that, it matches and reflects the richness of the story so much. And it's such an interesting everything that he wrote such a complex score. And he was so used to playing with a certain level of symphony, a certain level of orchestra, certain players who knew how to play this type of stuff. But as they gave him a orchestra over in Germany, the players weren't skilled enough. And so like in the first couple of sessions, he was like, this is not turning out well. This is bad. This is really, really bad. And so they ended up having him go over to London with a Philharmonic over there. And it's like, my God. Oh my God. You listen to the entire score, which has been expanded recently. It's available on all digital music services. I think it's gotten a CD release overseas and maybe like a vinyl release somewhere. But like any way you can grab this thing, it's so amazing because it's got such stirring cues that build character and create a world that just like pumps forward all over the entire place. I love the fact that the main theme of the film comes back through every so often. Like, you don't get that enough anymore. Maybe a couple like franchise things, like maybe a superhero film. Maybe so often they'll bring back a main theme here or there. But so much just like a one-off big sci-fi adventure type of film, it creates such a great score, a great theme overall for it that threads through the entire thing, and multiple themes. It has many different things, like the dream theme comes in right at the beginning of the film and kind of threads through every so often, like when we meet Quado and we go to the end of the entire film with Melina and the kiss, right before it goes to white. All these different things kind of flows through a different place where it feels like it kind of enhances more the surrealism of the entire film so much. Like, there's so many great type of things he does with the entire score. It's like, the score alone is an experience. It's such a great thing. Like, oh my God, it's so goddamn good. I'd love to get this physically on a CD, but it's a little hard to get. So I'm by no doubt, when you're seeing this, I already have bought it off of iTunes, because Lord Almighty, it's one of the best things I've ever heard from him. And I've heard so many scores from Jerry Goldsmith I absolutely adore. And he was already hooked up with Carolco through the Rambo films and a few other things here there. But when they offer you Jerry Goldsmith, you would take Jerry Goldsmith, and he just delivered one of the best goddamn scores, period. Again, just rolling forward. The special effects of this film are chef's kiss. And they got a special recognition reward from the Oscars. Like, there was like no nominations. Just like, this film has just blown it away, and we're just going to give it to them. And includes Rob Bottin, who did work on The Howling, on The Thing, Inner Space, RoboCop, and now Total Recall here, with all his prosthetic and animatronic type of work on the entire thing. It's beyond reproach. The quality of what he did the entire thing with the mutant type stuff, all the different prosthetics and everything like that, it's just immaculate type of work. But when you get into the animatronic stuff, when you have the entire thing of like the robot head for like Arnold in some places here and there, my God, it's so good. Like, it's so goddamn good. We've come a long way from that kind of rudimentary type of thing in The Terminator, where we had the robotic Arnold head, where they didn't have a whole lot of money and resources to make it look really, really good. Now it's just impeccable. It's like almost seamless. Like, it's so goddamn good with the textures and the movement and all the different things. It looks so lifelike. It's so goddamn good. And all the different things they put together with, again, Quado. Have the entire animatronic, not just Quado himself, but Marshall Bell and the entire thing as the head and the torso. Like, everything comes together. My God, it's mind-blowing. The quality of what he put in the thing, along with everyone else, going off and doing all the miniature work, the rear projection stuff, the optical composite work is so goddamn good. Because I'm watching this thing in 4K now, and it looks phenomenal. Just the quality of what they put forward holds up so well after 35 years. That's insane. That's just so goddamn insane. That's that goddamn good. And it's just like, that's at the peak of the optical composite era. Just right before everything started creeping over the digital. And it's like they've refined the quality so very much that just like, it's just amazing work they did in their thing, working with DreamQuest images and Stenton visual graphics, everything like that. Everything they did, I mean, the entire thing with the X-rays thing, when they're passing through the security checkpoint and got the skeletons, everything like that, that was all done with rotoscoping and a couple of little things in the computer and whatnot. They did such a great job with it. It looks amazing. Like, effects today could not look any better than this. It looks phenomenal. It's just so goddamn good. So much good work went into it from people with a lot of intelligence what they do with it, because with that type of thing, like they had the entire thing of trying to do kind of a early sort of motion capture type of thing with Arnold, and the entire thing kind of didn't go off quite the way they wanted to in the first way they wanted to do it, but eventually they found another way to do it, and everything came together so very well they could track his motions and kind of implement them into the entire sequence and whatnot. So it's like it's so goddamn good. Everything top to bottom, they put it in the entire film, from all the stuff they do from production design on Mars and all that type of stuff to make the landscapes fall out and everything like that through the windows and all the different things they do to just make the entire world of Total Recall on Mars, on Earth, anything like that comes together so very well. And it's aided so much by shooting all those wonderful locations in Mexico and able to incorporate the reality of the shooting locations into the overall design and what they put forward in the entire film. So it's such a, again, visionary type of work. Total Recall, my God. Before T2 comes up and changes the game for a lot of digital effects work and lays a little bit of the groundwork going forward towards Jurassic Park and everything like that, where it just creates that digital revolution, this is the peak of the powers of optical composites and miniature work and practical physical effects, everything like that. It's such amazing work. I can't praise it enough. It's so goddamn good. But talking about the story of Total Recall altogether here, is like it's so intelligently crafted and constructed. Like I said, all the little things they use to lay the seeds every so often, to have you question the fantasy versus the reality. Is this a dream? Is it not? Is it an implant? Everything like that. Is it really happening, or is it just all in his mind? And I love all the little things, like it gringles you back and forth a little, because like, okay, all the little things are like almost subconsciously planted for Quaid to pick up on it, to have it become the reality later on. It's almost too convenient. But it has the little things here and there's like, maybe not. All the little things like the thing with Dr. Edgemar coming in the middle of the entire film here, knocking on Quaid's door on Mars and going in there and explaining all the different things that are going on, supposedly in reality. All the little things to kind of even tell you what's going to happen next if you don't go down this route. If you don't take that pill, which is almost like a precursor to the Matrix in that regard. Great little thing they might have picked up on, the Wachowskis, to kind of lay that idea in there of a pill getting you out or into the entire idea of a dream in that regard. But just all these little things where he's kind of getting off and kind of saying like the walls of reality will break down and eventually you'll be bosom buddies with Cohagen and be savior of the planet and all the alien technologies. Like, he's laying out exactly what's going to happen there. So it's hard to argue against it being all pre-programmed into his head. But it's all these little things like the drop of sweat going down the side of his face. It's a wonderful little thing that can interpret many different ways, because with Edgemar saying like, well, I'm just a construct injected into this entire fantasy here, so I'm not real. So if he's not real, why is he sweating? Why is he worrying? Why is he having nerves in the situation? But also it's like, is the fantasy so real that it's playing tricks on Quaid? That's creating things into his mind to project certain things? Is it creating that situation to drive him further into the entire fantasy? Are there different ways you can interpret that moment to drive towards whatever end you want to? Is it actually fantasy? Is it Cohagen and his people trying to trick Quaid into thinking this, that, and the other thing, to be thrown back into being implanted back into Hauser? A lot of different ways you can go about looking at that moment there to see the different places where the ambiguity of the story can swerve itself off to. It's a great thing about a film and art and fiction in that regard. Like, if you want to be immersed in that world and believe in that world so much, then you're just going to believe in it. You're just being tapped into it. But also the thing of, maybe he was lobotomized at the entire film. You don't really entirely know. It's the great thing of leaving it that way, where you can still go back to the film over and over again and experience all the highs and interesting little things, the developments of the characters and the swerves and the turns of the entire thing, and still be exhilarated by everything like that. You're still immersed in what's going on in the entire story here and being satisfied. It's so many interesting little ideas that are so rich and has so much depth to what they're doing on the screen, but it has so much multifaceted ways to entertain and engage the audience and just spark off so many great things. Like, no wonder this film made so much goddamn money at the box office. It was like one of the top 10 movies of the year that outgrossed like Back to the Future Part 3 and Dick Tracy and Die Hard 2 and even Arnold's other film that year, Kindergarten Cop. Just like it was a very successful film that year and just stood up along with a lot of other great films that year, but like it just really made an indelible point in the entire career of Arnold Schwarzenegger, saying the only bigger thing he can do right after this is Terminator 2, which grossed about $500 million, like doubling what this film made at the box office. It could only be T2 after this. That's the next big step. Like that's the only other crescendo he could have after this massively fantastic film all over the entire place. And interestingly, there was an idea bad around for a sequel to this. Now, it was going to adapt the other Philip K. Dick novel, or story or whatnot, Minority Report. Now, this eventually gets made by Steven Spielberg as his own film starring Tom Cruise. But they're originally going to bring it that they kind of wash away the ambiguity of Total Recall and just like have Quaid here doing the entire thing where, again, as we established in the entire film, many mutants are actually psychics. And so you do that with the precogs and various other things and wrap it around to a Total Recall sequel. Just really couldn't get anywhere. 1990s Total Recall is just a bombastic film. Like I never really kind of warmed up to it years ago. Because like I said, the old DVD transfer, I felt it was just kind of a flat thing. It didn't really make the film look as good as it possibly could. Now looking at 4K, this film looks phenomenal. And it's so goddamn good. I'm just sitting there like, man, every joke is landing. Every one-liner is knocking it out of the park. The film is so rich with ideas and so well constructed and so smart. Like all the years it took to create this screenplay, all these different drafts, all these different people coming and going, and it's Helmer's the entire thing, people backing it, falling out, going bankrupt, and everything like that. It's a fascinating pre-production of this thing that could go on way more detail in that regard, but I kind of breezed over the generalizations of what happened in the pre-production and development of the entire film. But the fact of the matter is, it just nailed the hell out of it. It's a fantastic film. This, like I said, this is some peak Arnold stuff. It's like A-list Arnold, no doubt whatsoever. I absolutely loved watching this film again, and it was just, oh my God. So if I haven't gushed enough to let you know that, but the fact is, I want to hear you guys gushing. Tell me what you feel about Total Recall in the comments below, and just anything you love about the film, anything you find very much interesting. If you have read the short story, which is only maybe about 23, 24, 28 pages or whatnot, depending on which publication version you're reading, but it's all just fascinating stuff. I mean, the Philip K. Dick stuff has been adapted to some phenomenal films all over the place, and as I have a Blade Runner poster behind me and everything like that, saying such things. But regardless, guys, I just like to hear what you feel about it. If you've enjoyed what I've had to share about Total Recall myself, thumbs up on the video, subscribing if you haven't, and there's always a super thanks feature to contribute anything monetarily to the channel, along with Patreon, and of course, all the stuff, sharing links around, and all the different stuff really helps keep the channel very healthy and keeps going forward, and so I can create more great stuff for you guys, know exactly what you do enjoy on the channel, so I can make more of what you want to enjoy, and hopefully I'll enjoy making it for you as well. So guys, thanks so very much. I really wanted to do this video. I got the bugs for it a couple weeks ago, and just really kept on trying to get around to actually shooting this video. And that wasn't easy, but thankfully I feel so much the catharsis talking about this thing, because I'm just glowing about Total Recall. So guys, thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.